matchup. I will say it doesn't have the same kind of team fighting presence as you would like, but
Sejuani could also work here. I think Aki very happy to take the Sejuani. Does synergize very well with K'Sante as well. Cream decides to go with the Yone. Very amazing melee solo laners to go alongside that Sejuani. It is going to be jungle counter R5 for OMG for this game 3 2 times in a row, but that is just going to be a Sejuani. How is LNG going to respond to this? Because you need a powerful pick for Zuka to really step up for this early game skirmishing potential.
I mean, they did hover the Lilia. I'm not going to say anything about it until we do see a lock in there, but you know, you'll go with the very obvious option of the Sejuani. I'm going to go with the Giga Chad option of the Lilia.
No.
Zika goes back towards this Malphite. I mean, look, globally, the Malphite's a little bit of a meme right now. People are not enjoying the Malphite kind of setup right now. It does feel like you are just an ult bot, and that's it. I would have preferred the Scion, to be perfectly honest. But it does feel like it's just something that can deal with the K'Sante, kind of, you know, not die in lane, as some audience analysts coming in there into the side there, trying to see if they could maybe, you know, figure out why you would go with the Malphite over that. But yep, the Sejuani gets locked in there. You call the kitty. You got double melees. You even got the Rakan as well. That's going to help you kind of bring up that permafrost. And OMG, they get themselves basically the exact same comp they had in game number 2, if not in game number 1. They're happy to take these 5v5s.
I'm really glad that during BP phase, you can't see the cameras of the casters, because when I saw the Malphite getting locked in, my eyebrows went upside down. But it is going to be the exact same draw for OMG for this game 3 compared to game 2, but LNG has switched it up a little bit, switching out the support for Lulu. Hopefully we do see a lot more safer play from the bottom lane of LNG, because that was their biggest weakness, as PP God was able to get so many kills into the Xayah and Rakan's pockets before teamfighting even ensued. And of course, Scout, instead of the LeBlanc, he has decided to go with the Ahri, where you can work off those resets, but the question is, can you get those resets is the first problem. As Malphite Wukong into the Xayah, it's going to be a struggle trying to kill her if she gets ahead again.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in the last game. I will say the Lulu, definitely not as easy to kill level 1 as the Annie. So we'll see if that early game ends up going against Hong in this particular one. But LNG find themselves in the unlikely position of being 1 game away from elimination from the LPL 2023 Spring Playoffs. OMG looking to sweep the number 3 seed under the rug and secure themselves double elimination. It's been all OMG so far this series. LNG need to have something special come out to try and get this one back, and it's all gonna rely on how this bot lane functions. 2 times we saw the Xayah Rakan just kind of absolutely pop off. We'll see if this one's any different.
It's dangerous, Oshin. The bottom lane of OMG have picked up 2 MVPs so far, and that really is the difference when it comes to this best of series. Can PP go do it again? He has been looking in his element for every single fight.
So Jaios went. We now come back to pure silence. This is in Suzhou, which is the native home of LNG. This is a home arena. And that's why it feels like we're a little bit more scared, shall we say. A little bit more tentative from the fans. A lot of LNG fans in the crowd. Let's wait to see how this kind of matchup goes. This time around, I will say that we are not going to have any early vision being put down on the Tarzans. They're not going to have full ideas of where LNG's jungler is going to be starting, and it's going to be key to see where he's able to kind of bring that lack of information to light here in the, you know, in the first few minutes of the game.
The thing I liked about Tarzan the most is when he locks in something like the Lee Sin or the Elise for these games, he's able to just fasten up the tempo so much, especially towards his bottom side, where he's able to pull off a lot of illegal dives, because Scal is always getting that lane priority to allow for these plays to work. But Tarzan on this Wukong 2 games in a row now, we saw how silent his performance was in that early game, getting completely out-tempoed by Aki. So hopefully he can pick it up for this game 3. Typical missing the first W is the first step to victory, guys.
I like that. I like the optimism.
I'm sniffing some copium right now, because surely LNG isn't going to
up
go
to it.
out 3-0. Surely we're not going to get 2 3-0s from 2 of our best teams, right, Oshin?
Well, Aki missed that vision. So there's no idea where the Sejuani is. This could be dangerous. Aki is skirted around everything. They don't know where he is. There's going to be at least a flash blown, you would imagine. Scout looks to try and just get level 3. Flash in. They want the W down. They're going to try and get him caught off. CC is good. And it was all about bot lane, but now Cream and Aki are proving their 2v2 to be just a little bit too much for LNG.
But Scout's ward just misses Aki by the millisecond and doesn't spot the Sejuani wrapping around. Perfect flash E from the Sejuani, and even the charm landing onto Cream, it doesn't matter as Scout's flash was forced out early and Cream just following up with his one. First blood going into Aki, not the most ideal, but we already see the same proactiveness from OMG. We're gonna get a replay of the ward just missing this pig by the hairs of this ball, man. And she walks behind the river and just gets Scout in. Aki was around, Tarzan was around, but they just didn't know. The ward is so sad. This is really sad.
It's a game of inches. That is literally the definition. Hell, not even inches, millimeters in this, because we use metric system in this chat, in this game, but it does feel like it is just small little moments, and whatever goes for OMG feels like it goes against LNG, and a couple of seconds in the difference there, he spots him out, no harm, no foul. If he doesn't throw it over the wall and instead puts it on the brush, he spots him out, no harm, no foul. It's all good, but it's just those little moments that come out of it that just unfortunate there for LNG. But for OMG, this is a fantastic start, especially for someone like Cream, who we saw what he could do in terms of just setting up his team on this Yoni in game number 2.
Yep, something that you don't want to be giving over to Cream is that Yoni. He's able to just bring up the tempo so much by pushing in that side lane. And LNG not having the answer for this game 3. They are just looking for those 5v5 forces with Suka on his mouth like 2 games in a row now. And the good thing is Xayah isn't fed. As long as Xayah is relatively weak, then she can't cut through the front line of LNG, because you do have Wukong and Malphite most likely going full armor. But Scout on this Ahri, he needs to get his hands onto the enemy AD carry as well, which is doable with that ultimate available.
Absolutely. We'll just kind of wait to see again. Apart from that first early blood, not really going to be seeing much health happening yet. We talked about it in the first game, but Tarzan on... the second game. Tarzan on the Wukong. Not a lot you can do until you get Cyclone. Level 6s are going to be the key point there. OMG weren't able to get themselves a early first blood either onto Hung, so no summoners were blown there. And now it's just about keeping an idea of where everyone's going to be, seeing where they're all going to be kind of setting themselves up to make sure you have the information you need to maybe go for this early dragon, which we've seen OMG go now for 3 games in a row.
Yeah, I feel like LNG, when Hung isn't on a melee support like the Leon or the Nautilus, LNG really struggles to find those angles to engage and win 3v3s when it comes to skirmishes in the early game. But Hung, with his previous performance on the Annie, he is going to be on the Lulu for this game 3. But it is still okay, because the Lulu with that polymorph, you can get rid of Cream. So it is still hopes for LNG to have that reverse sweep.
Kind of riding on hope. When you're in your darkest time, hope is something you allow yourself, and they got to allow it. They got to see that, you know, they can do this. They are not... It's a first blood, it's a first dragon, it's fine. You can't let those things kind of build up on top of you, and this is something that, you know, a lot of people, I think, you know, kind of mentally coming from it, is that you have to give yourself opportunities. You can't play defensively, you can't play unproactively, because if you do, you're going to end up being in a worse situation than if you just kind of, you know, go for the shot, try and make something happen. Speaking of making something happen, they do not get LP caught up by the feathers, but that's what they can do now. That's the thing that you gave them over 3 times in a row, the Xayah Rakan. It's just so powerful at getting those 2v2s.
And the thing about this series that OMG has done the exact same thing, 3 games in a row, where Aki secures first dragon and then he rotates to this Herald, and then PP God also rotates, but the W misses again from PP God.
That's a heal coming out there from Hong to try and speed everyone up. Flash burnt by Abel as Cleanse came in here from LP. This is looking a little bit better here. This is the difference between an Annie and a Lulu for the Zeri, because you have so much more to be able to work with here. Zika immediately ults over the wall, recognizing there was a giant Poro lady coming at him. He doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
Scout is going to get spotted out by a ward here. PP God most likely not going to stay for this wave as well. He should just back and go towards that Herald. This bot lane tower, because of how the trade went earlier, is just going to be 2 plates going to LP's hands. But this next Herald is going to be very important. Tarzan already level 6. Aki's still working towards that level 6 spike, but without the tempo from their own support. So LNG can realistically move people towards this Herald and force a 5v5 there.
Aki just being a nuisance right now, recognizing that he has an opportunity here to maybe steal away the buff. Not quite going to get it fully there as the blue buff does get a reset in. Aki will pick up that himself. And with the Glacial Prison available, so difficult really for LNG to make anything else work on this top side. They knew that they had moved down Scout. They didn't have priority in that mid lane. They needed to respect the fact that there were 3 people in that top side. And this is very vintage OMG. This is what we saw from them pretty much all split. It's not been the bot lane focus. It's been about these solo lanes. And, you know, they've been quiet in relative senses in this series, but they are just such a triple threat coming into any team.
Yeah, LNG didn't expect this type of performance from them, but sometimes when you are in the 3rd round, rustiness can get to you. And not having the stage game experience can sometimes be your downfall. As we see PB God doing the exact same thing as he's been doing for the past 3 games, but this time, Herald isn't contested. And there's no objectives for the bot side either, so LNG being very quiet once again, seeing everything getting taken in front of their faces.
Yeah, Cream does no damage to Scout as Lulu was there to put up a shield, and Scout is able to kind of gain that advantage for himself. Bot lane's got itself about 20 CS lead. LP not even worried about that one. Doesn't flash, doesn't dash. Knows that he's very safe in the ranges he's been allowing himself. And look, LP's been playing decently on the Zeri. Zeri is still Zeri. Zeri will still scale and do exceptional damage in these team fights. And we have seen it once or twice where the health bars have gone exceptionally low on OMG, but they haven't gone down. That's been the big kicker for a lot of these kind of setups here, is wait to see where they want to try and, you know, put this priority and try and make something out of them, because, you know, Dragon in a minute 20. Yeah, I was going to say, Dragon in a minute 20, that ward could be critical in setting up, you know, just knowing where everyone's going to be.
Yeah, I think LP and Scout definitely the most stable performances so far, but just with every single game state having the enemy team so accelerated with those dragons and of course the heralds, it is very impossible for a Zeri to play when you're dealing with the Cassante, the Yone, and now even Xayah. Once again, you can't really go forward without the threat of getting just smacked by the top side of OMG. So with this Lulu, hopefully you can just play front to back with LNG's team composition where Zika doesn't overextend alongside Tarzan, because that was one of their biggest mistakes from game 2.
Boots, Berserker Greaves for LP, Pickaxe for Abel. So Abel technically has more AD damage to throw at this next potential fight. TP coming up for both top laners. They could TP to the lanes and try and make something work there. It's 20 seconds to the next dragon. Again, OMG able to stack early dragons is how they won game 1 and 2. Getting that early pressure and the option to be able to kind of choose what you want. Scout, ooh, the Spirit Rush.
Double ult?
Just about gets himself set up there, but yeah, double ult's not going to be a fair trade. Scout comes out the better of that.
That's really good. OMG no longer have the utility to engage, so LNG catching a breather as Scout dodges the Sejuani with her tails not getting caught out, but it's still fine because the second dragon, it's not going to mean too much. It does deny the soul going over to OMG for 3 games in a row, but it seems like OMG want to fight this. They
do want to fight this. They still have Cream, who's on a pretty decent champion in the early games. They're going to have the Rift Herald drop down. Shanji comes in. Zika as well into the mid lane. So it's going to be a full 5v5. Dragon down! Secured by Cream. And that's going to be second dragon for OMG. Do we get a fight afterwards? Remember, no real engage ultimates available. OMG would be very happy just to move down towards this bot side.
But OMG didn't have Rakan or Sejuani. How do they take the second dragon in front of LNG's face? Once again, the tower plate's going over to Aki. Not the best, but still, every single major objective for this first 15 minutes is just in the control of OMG. I think Zika TP towards mid lane, and he was just walking towards that dragon when it was already dead.
It's such a curious one. I would have loved to see exactly how low it went before, you know, the smite does come in. PP got enable. Looking for something here. Difficult to do. Not quite sure they're exactly going to be able to go for it. The lightning crash does come down. They're trying to see if they can get LP away from this. Aki has made his presence known, though. And that's going to be the big difference maker. Again, I don't know without the quickness what you're really looking for there as OMG, but maybe they thought they could get a panic flash out of LP.
LP really wants to win. I can tell from his Zeri performance, he's not giving PP God any chances over. So Hung, don't let your ADC down, please, because man is gliding on the enemy team. Tarzan also has been level 6 for a very long time now, but we haven't seen a single cyclone from this jungler, as Yone just steals it in front of LNG Tarzan's face from an auto attack.
Yeah, they comboed it up with the smite from Sejuani, so really well done there by OMG in that jungle mid combination once more. And I mean, yeah, I mean, it's hard for LNG now. You're 2 dragons down. It is an Ocean Soul, so not the most impactful in the world, but definitely something that can be stacked up if you can get up to 4 of them. Scout will take a very unfortunate trade, and this is the kind of way the game is going to go. It's equal in terms of gold with those 2 dragons, and honestly, the second Rift Herald might be going over in favor of OMG, as OMG maybe look to try and catch out Scout. They will, and he's dead. Aki picks that one up. He just thought he had a moment of peace, but you get nothing here.
I mean, how many plays has OMG made? I think 3 or 4 so far, and Scout is just getting Sejuani ulted every single time. It's off cooldown. PP God also making that rotation towards mid. Cream did a really awkward flash where his Q3 ran out, but it still doesn't matter because OMG has so much follow-up CC where we see this Ahri getting suffocated from the amount of jungle pressure that OMG has.
Well, Abel takes a fair bit of damage there. Quickness does get used, and LP is just having a fun time in this bot side, but I don't think it matters, Kitty, because yes, he's 20 CS up, but I mean, more even. It's going to be about 25 up once this wave gets pushed in, but this is just so difficult for them to really do anything about it. Now, Lightning Crash comes in. Do they get enough damage down? The Wild Growth has been used. The Cleanse as well. Flash for Flash. LP wants to try and get this game back on track so badly, but he just can't finish them off.
And that's double summon is gone from your Zeri with the Herald. Now PP God and Abel are going to work towards that second Herald available on the map. This tier 1 tower does look like it's going to fall as LNG rotates 4 members towards here. But I don't see anything going right for this game 3. Tarzan finally coming bot lane for the first time, bonking the tower, but that's Herald going over to OMG.
See if they want to go for it. I will say Aki's still on the bot side, so plenty of time to rotate if they decide to and contest it. But yeah, you get the first tower, keeps the gold even, but it's just not going their way for LNG. And I gotta say, like, OMG, they're playing on a knife's edge, but they're never falling off it. They're always keeping themselves so tantalizingly close to death. And it is the difference a lot of the time between, you know, pro players or some of the best and, you know, some of the biggest blunders is that, you know, you think of Jackie Love back in, 2022 summer. He, gets that W with the Zeri and completely flubs it, doesn't catch himself in a good position and falls off. But if he lands, you think of all the great plays he's able to do, it always becomes, those small little differences that are the difference maker.
Machine. I'm seeing a trend with the teams that are getting eliminated out of LPL playoffs. First, it was Gala. He was space gliding on the enemy team, but it wasn't enough. Jackie Love performing out of his mind, but his solo laners were just not enough. LNG LP in the exact same position. He is trying so hard, but these ADCs can't do enough because it's a 5-man game.
Shows you how good our talent pool is really for the ADCs. Not just good enough, you have to be better. You have to get the things. Now, Dragon live. TP's coming in towards that mid lane. You would imagine Zika's going to follow as well. Cream will join in on top of his team with that Immortal Shield Bow. It's going to be a full 5v5. There is a ward there behind the pit, behind the blue buff, I should say. It's not really going to be a TP advantage here. Everyone just kind of moving their way in. You got to cover this wave in mid, and they will for LNG. But this time around, they do finally have first rotation onto the Dragon Pit.
LP doesn't have double summoners from that previous bot lane exchange, so if Aki is going to land an ultimate onto this ADC, it quite literally might be over for this game 3. Scout trying to find an angle, but this is sole points for OMG.
Yeah, you have to try and stop this dragon stacking. This is the thing, OMG can just decide not to fight it if they don't want, but they have so many tools that can be utilized. The charm hits, Nobody follows up. Here we go. There's going to be the ultimate. The fate seal on the Scout. Can they kill him off? He goes golden before he can. LP putting in the damage on the backside. Scout flashes away and Spear dashes as well. PP God going into his own stasis to make sure he doesn't die. Zika flashing away. Shanji on the backside can't really do a lot. These health bars are low. The charm is good. Shanji goes down. That might be the straw that breaks the camel's back here. LNG pushing forward, hunting for more. LP wants to try and get it. You can see how hungry he is. But they'll take a 1 for none and they'll take the dragon as well.
Finally, a fight winning over towards LNG as Zika landed a 3-man ultimate onto OMG, and they played with the space that they were able to create with the Zeri ultimate. Of course, Scout escaping with that ultimate as well. And when OMG uses all their initial engage and you're able to disengage it with your mobility, then that is how LNG is going to be able to sneak back into the game as they stop the soul point going over to OMG.
Little moments. Keeps them in the game. That's the big thing here. But we can see here, it all starts from a charm. And then everyone just starts to go in ahead.
Scout didn't die when OMG landed every single ability onto him, but that is the Wukong and Malphite combo landing onto 3 people. Shanti desperately trying to kill LP, but with the Lulu peel, there is nothing dying for the side of LNG, and that is exactly what you want. Shanti a little bit too overpushed with this commitment, and the charm lands, and that is your top laner gone from the team fight 4v5 now. They're no longer able to contest this, but this is great signs for LNG.
Take a breath. Take a breather, LNG fans. You're not out of this one just yet. Give yourselves another 4 minutes or so. The game is still very, very even. I will say, Shanji did not ult in that last fight. We didn't see an all-out. You could see he wanted to try and get LP close enough to a wall to isolate him away from the Lulu and then take that 1v1. Didn't happen for him in that particular instant. Yeah, got kited. Got absolutely kited. But now we can come back into live and see where everything kind of, the dust settles, if you will. 20 minutes on the clock. Baron going to be spawning, obviously, in about 40 seconds or so. And everyone's kind of picking up their first items.
As long as LP doesn't die, we still have hope in LNG. Surely it's not going to be a big fat egg next to that scoreline, but this Herald is going to be spawning in... Oh, sorry, this is Baron spawning in 20 seconds. Apologies for my contacts. But as long as Aki is able to get his hands onto someone like Scout or Hung where they don't have the cleanse available, playing off picks is the way OMG can find these kill advantages. But LP, he is so aggressive.
He is, because he knows there's no one really to kind of come back off of this. Lightning Crash comes down. PP God doesn't really have anywhere to go. No flash, but he gets himself out. And Tarzan taking some damage here from the Baron. Will use the Cyclone to get himself away. Quickness traded back. The Glacial Prison. So it's a 2 ult for 2 ult.
It's okay, as long as the game gets prolonged, this area is only going to get stronger and stronger, as I think when it does come to an ADC versus ADC show, the Zeri will always come out on top. Our League of Legends highlights, I think maybe 5 out of... Oh, I wouldn't say 5, but 9 out of 10 are just all Zeri outplays, so hopefully LP can do that with this Lulu supporting him as well. Lulu really needs to get Mikhail's, however, in this game, because if Scout and Tarzan are caught out, that is game over.
It's going to be key to see where Aki can land this Glacial Prison. If Sante can get on to the back line. It's all about LP. I think that's the best way we can put it. It's all about LP for LNG now. They have to make sure that the Zeri is having a Zeri moment. I was going to say he went for the Phantom Dancer, then immediately swapped back to the Runance. So
I saw that
definitely building towards the team fight rather than the solo kind of setup. But both decent in their own regards.
Just taking a look at Scout's, just taking a look at Scout's build, the Haunting Guy Zhonya's, maybe even he needs to build Rabadon's third, or this Ahri is going to be doing no damage, and it truly is all up to the Zeri. The ultimate goes wide from Aki. You see how hard they're trying to force, but LP playing this game perfectly with how he's spacing is going to be truly the victory angle, but I mean, Cream can just go to the side lane and consistently pressure, so LNG, at the very end, they need to be the ones forcing the 5v5s.
I think you showed your League of Legends age there by calling it Haunting Guys. It's been a while since it's... You've been playing this game for too long, Kitty. So yeah, of course, you know, lots of name changes, you know, lots of different things coming out of it. But finally get the Zhonya's Hourglass being finished up here for Scout. Always good to have that little bit of extra protection. Cream going towards that Bloodthirster second. Navori Quickblade soon to be finished up here by Abel, you would imagine. Now everyone's just kind of happy with the way they're kind of going with it. Zika's foregone his mythic item for the moment to get that Frozen Heart straight away. 35 seconds till the dragon spawns, and that could be key here. If he's able to get onto carries and stop them from getting that extra attack speed, reduce them down, that could be very key in the next few fights. The TP God
Scout.
looking for something. They get the double knockoff, and Abel is dead. They went in full 5-man here and get themselves the tower. 3 kills. The solo laners of OMG nowhere to be seen.
LNG finally punishes the 1-3-1 from OMG, and they find the picks they needed to start this Baron. I believe Tarzan 0 KP for 22 minutes. But finally, the wombo combos are getting online for LNG, and they know what they're doing, which is getting the Zeri ahead. Now 3-0, also getting the Baron as well.
And the Baron defending bot lane. Hung might be in a little bit of trouble here, though, so he may be forced to flash away. So we'll see what he's able to kind of do here. He's trying to dodge around as best he can. Nope, there's the knockback, and all out comes in. There's the flash away. Does he get away, though? That's the question. The knockback is good! Cassante, more like Kassanji, and now he's in a little bit of a 1v4. Trying to see if he can get out of this one here, but he's already lost his resistances, and he will fall down. Trades his life, but now you're in a 4v4 and get this Baron, so he did his job.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1 trade, but Shandy doesn't have that TP available, so LNG can realistically fight this as well, as you do have the ultimate slowly coming online for an extra 10 seconds, but I see what Hung was trying to do. He was trying to get the wards down. Can they flip this, though?
I mean, it's going to be difficult here. Tarzan trying to go in there. LP needs to back away. The quickness comes out. He flashes and cleanses, knowing that he cannot stay away from everybody BCC. Here we go. Scout coming onto the backside. Tarzan trying to go in for the dragon. Leone is dead. The dragon is secured. LNG are doing it. LNG are fighting back in this game and in this series.
And LNG win 2 back-to-back team fights. This is shattering results for OMG as they are getting desperate. I see Aki even flashing forward, missing the spy on that Dragon Soul point as well. But this is... they're getting the tempo online for LNG, and they don't plan on stopping in. We are going into a game 4, Sheen.
Wouldn't call it just yet, but it's looking mighty, mighty good right now for LNG. They're getting the fights there. They're gaping their AD carry and their mid laner secure and safe to put out the DPS. And it does look like OMG had an opportunity here. They didn't use any in this particular play. Yes, they get caught out. They lose 3. But when the dragon fight comes back after this, they use nothing. No ultimates were used at this point.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the vision was just non-existent for the side of OMG, so they didn't see the Wukong ultimate from the side, and of course Scout followed up very nicely with this Ahri, but I think the value of Scout on this Ahri so far has been amazing. He gets into the pit and he gets everyone to 1 HP where LP is able to clean up, and Abel and Desire, he isn't finding the same amount of value because his ultimate has been used very weirdly in the previous 2 team fights. And Zika on the Malphite 0-0-8, it's a top gap.
Bit of a top gap. This is what the Malphite can do when he finds his mark. Now we're looking at a 6,000 gold lead out of nowhere now for LNG. They're 2 dragons apiece, so it's a pure gold difference right now. Full item difference between the mid laners and AD carries. Magi Soul Stealer here for Scout. Of course, the Lord Dominic's regard for LP as they try to maybe make this one work. They're jumping straight in on top of it. Fate Seal comes down. The feathers fly. They're keeping them there, but can they kill them off? That is the question. Nobody has died. Finally, Tarzan goes down. The Zeri as well. And like I just said, you can't count this team out just yet, Kitty.
What is LNG doing, man? They just got the second dragon into their pockets and they won 2 back-to-back team fights, but you are over-forcing, man. Getting stacked up against a Yone and Sejuani, even Fifi got on this Rakan doing his Rakan things. Why is LNG throwing?
I mean, you saw them do the Wombo. OMG took personal pain from that and said, well, we got our own Wombo, and they put it all into full effect there. They get themselves a mid-tier 2. They're going to get themselves a bottom-tier 2 as well. This is just... it was 5,000 gold. It's now 1,000 gold. Like, this is how quickly these games... This is very reminiscent from game number 1, where LNG found opportunities. LNG got themselves back in the game, but OMG just got opportunistic.
Please don't stack up LNG. You have the gap closer to run away from this, but Shanty landing the Q3 onto LP and the follow-up CC onto the Zeri, not having the tails available for Hung just quite yet, just means LP dying, the entire ship is sinking without Scout here as well. They have no damage now that they just focus down the ADC, but they don't need to be so greedy walking up there.
It was 3 towers, 2 towers in mid, 1 tower in bot. I believe that's Icon and Lian, if I'm not mistaken, sitting there in the crowd there. Not quite sure who they're cheering on for at the moment, but when we come back in, again, a Sejuani Aki having so much gold as well, just being able to kind of keep up the tanky front, but it's only 1,000 gold lead here for LNG. 2 dragons apiece. This game has come back to an equal setup, and it comes back to who can execute better. For the majority of this game, it was LNG. They were finding the better rotations. They were finding the wombo combos onto Abel, but OMG have not given up hope yet. They want to send themselves into double elimination with a statement to say, look, we are not to be trifled with. We are not to be underestimated. They want a 3-0.
Now, both teams are going to fight for this mid priority, but look at Tarzan. He's already at that Dragon Pit, so if he's able to find that sneaky opportunity to get onto the back line and catch Abel off by surprise, that can be huge. But if LNG is not too careful, OMG already working towards that Baron vision. They can sneak it with the Zaya and the Yone.
We'll see what they are able to do. Baron up in 30 seconds. Ocean up in 20, so I believe our Twitch stream went down. Don't worry, all your loyal viewers, nothing happened. You missed nothing. We wanted to give you a break. We wanted to make sure you guys were ready. You got a breather.
I'm not ready, Oshin.
You're not ready? I don't think anyone's ready, because LNG, they got to be ready, though. They can't take a decision off this. They have to be ready. It looks like the Dragon is just going to be forfeited.
They can't
OMG.
rotate 5 people towards this Dragon. They need people at this Baron, or OMG's just going to sneak it.
Sneak it or not, Dragon must be secured now in the next couple of seconds. LNG are very happy with taking that fight. Remember, the Zeri is still exceptionally fed. That last fight only worked because there was no cleanse, there was no flash. And even then, it took a hell of a long time to kill off the Zeri. So, plenty of survivability here for LP should he want to try and go for it. They're starting it. They will take it very quickly. No vision just yet. 8,000 HP there. Zika and Scout try and play keep away. There's a ward in the back of the bit here. Is this going to be a straight up try and steal this one here?
A flip?
I don't think they're looking to flip it just yet. Shanji taking a bit of poke. They drop down Zika a little bit more, and they're trying to look for a fight. LP forced to cleanse straight away. Zika losing most of his health bar and gets knocked back as well. He needs to get the wild growth from the Lulu. Hell of a lot of ultimates, hell of a lot of summoners now being burnt, and it's all getting a bit tense.
And they can't do Baron just quite yet because double TPs are available for the side of LNG. However, Abel did use his ultimate, so if LNG is able to force during this time frame, it can be something that can get them to that game 4. They're doing Baron again.
Going for it again. Cream goes over the wall, but he has a soul to bound back to. TP come back in here, and that's going to be Cassante joining the... Or sorry, yes, the Sanji coming in on the Cassante. As they look to try and make this one work. No teleports now available for either side except for Cream. He wants to try and reset them in here. Here we go. They're going to jump in onto the backside. Jumping on Tarzan, trying to burn him down before this Baron goes over. As it's not quite dead just yet. LP gets knocked back. Has to flash away. The Fate Seal goes in and gets everyone very, very low. Secured by LNG. And now OMG. Can they take the fight after the fact? LP is untouched so far in this fight. Cassante going in onto Scout, who goes gold and keeping himself alive. He will fall after all is said and done. But it's only a 1 for Baron trade as OMG get nothing that they wanted.
PB God is getting desperate. He got a one-man ultimate and the Zika ult.
Abel coming in though, trying to make this one work. They're just standing on top of the blast cone, so there's no escape. 2 kills for Zika, Baron as well. It ends up being all in favor of LNG as they take back control in this game.
We see OMG struggling to get that same wombo combo for this Baron, and LNG playing with the space that they've been able to create with this Lulu and Ari. Perfect situations for them to come back and take us to a game 4.
They're still pushing in, still have Cream, still have Aki, but you've got to try and stall out for as long as possible. But LNG not willing to let this series go, not willing to just try and let it happen. There's going to be the Fate Seal, but it's only onto the clone. Finally, Good and Sanji are back. Here we go, trying to fight this fight as it jumps down onto LP. There's one more dead. Can they defend the Nexus? They cannot! It was almost a last-ditch effort, but LNG will claim a game. And we are going to game number 4.
With the exact same draft as well, they decided to not double down, but this time executing it to that game 4. But this time around, Hoshin, I knew it. LNG reverse sweep time. Is it going to happen?
We don't